it is definitely a thrilling time of life. And I think we got to enjoy every moment of it. We got to enjoy every moment of it because eventually it will pass away. Some other team will take the reins. I'm sure eventually, Patrick Mahomes is not going to be able to play till he's 60. But I mean, Tom Brady got up to 50, so almost 50, close to 50, and he was still rolling. So maybe there is a chance that Patrick Mahomes could do something similar and just keep going and going. But either way, I think it's an awesome time to be here. Before I go any further, this episode is sponsored by HelloFresh. They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and HelloFresh agrees. In fact, they're giving all subscribers free breakfast for life. That means you'll enjoy a totally free breakfast item with every single HelloFresh delivery. Now that's important. All right. So, what are the odds saying? What are the football gods predicting is going to happen? And if we want to figure out what the football gods are predicting, there's no other place to go to but Vegas. And what is Vegas saying? All right, let's dive into the latest odds for Super Bowl 59. The Kansas City Chiefs are currently favored by 1.5 points over the Philadelphia Eagles. What does that mean? Well, if you bet on the Eagles, they just need to either win outright or lose by less than 1.5 points for your bet to pay off. The money line is where things get interesting. The Chiefs are at negative 120, meaning you need to bet $120 to win 100, meaning the Eagles are at plus 100, so a $100 bet wins you $100 if they come out on top. And for the over-under, the total points line is set at 48.5. So if you're betting on the total score, you're predicting whether both teams will combine for more or less than 48.5 points. So that's what Vegas is saying. That's what is going on there. And are you all? Is anyone out there like betting on this game? I mean, I've never really got into gambling ever. I've never, and I'd probably lose my shirt if I did. But I mean, and actually, it's where I'm at. It's not. You have to go across state lines to place a bet. Where I want to do a video just on betting and gambling and the breakdown and all of that, what goes on there, because to me, it is that is so. It's so weird how that all is happening. Like what all that means. Like I've never really understood like why we do why the laws are the way that they are, and why the government has set up things the way they are. That like you have like just the idea that casinos are on boats in the water so that they're not on land, but they're still in the state. There's so much there. I'm not going to go all down that, and I want to do a lot more homework and understanding before I did, but because that is actually a really interesting thing for me. I've really always been interested in that, in doing that. So there's a lot to it. So who do you all got in this Super Bowl? The Chiefs are the slight favored team this year. And I am going to talk about why we something a little bit of kind of maybe it's hedging your bets, maybe it's just kind of having a bigger perspective than just being zoned in and locked in on a game that could break your heart if it doesn't go right. So I'm going to talk a little bit like that in a second, but there are just so many storylines that I am completely fascinated, and my jaw drops. One is, it's incredible that we got Travis Kelce, and then just that storyline of Taylor Swift that it just brings so many more eyes and attention to it. And then that makes people think, is the NFL just pushing the Chiefs? Because that's been the storyline of the year this year, that the refs are making the Chiefs win, and they're the ones that are kind of just helping them to it because the NFL has some cabal to get the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And another thing is, like, why are the Chiefs so hated? Why are the Chiefs so hated? I don't get that. I really do not get that at all. Because, I mean, I understand like when Tom Brady was winning like 20 Super Bowls in a row. No, he didn't win that many, but he won about 7. He won 7 total. That's what I remember. And people were just screaming every time that he went to the Super Bowl again, because every year he was in the AFC Championship. Almost every year he was in the Super Bowl again. And pretty much every time he went to the Super Bowl, he lost 3. But almost every time he went to the Super Bowl, he won. And a dark day in history was when he beat the Kansas City Chiefs that will forever live in infamy. But I can understand why you don't like Tom Brady, you know, and like I kind of understand it. But Patrick Mahomes? Why wouldn't somebody not love Patrick Mahomes? He's so thrilling and exciting, and just like it's like a circus, man. It's like a carnival act every time he's on the field, and the things that he's doing are just, it makes you just double take, just look twice, you know, and you're like, did he just do that? Did he just do that? And it's like, he's the one who introduced the no-look pass in a game, in a freaking NFL game. He brought the no-look pass, and he completed it the very first time he did it. That was crazy. I don't think I could do that on a high school field, and he's doing it in the freaking NFL. I mean, I'm not Patrick Mahomes, but he makes things look so easy the way he does it. And the biggest thing that has made me like so in awe of Patrick Mahomes really is a lot of it's his character, just the way he is, which is awesome, but also his awareness of the game is next level. I would say, like, really, I think his awareness is more than Peyton Manning and Tom Brady of like situational football and just what to do. There's only been one time that I saw Mahomes not be Mahomes, like head space kind of thing in a game, and it was that Bengals fiasco that we lost, and the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, and we were up like, I don't know, a cajillion points, and then we lost, and they took over and they won. That was like a game that just broke my heart, and I think it broke every Kansas City person's heart out there. So that day will forever live in infamy. That day almost hurt a lot more than the Buccaneers loss in the Super Bowl. Really. I mean, because to me, it's always been about, I would rather, this is going to, like, tell me if you disagree with this, or tell me if you agree with this. I would rather lose by 100 points than lose by 1 point. Which leads me into my point, like, sports. I love sports. And I'm sure there are so many benefits. There are so many amazing things. And I would push our kids to doing sports all day, every day. You know, I think it's so important. But it hurts so much more when you lose than when you win. If you win, it's like, that's awesome. And you kind of just look to the next game. You look to that next championship you want to get, you know? But if you lose, you wake up the next morning. You can wake up the next morning. I used to, and we haven't lost for so long. I don't know how I would react, but like, I feel like I used to be completely, my week was destroyed, and a whole off season was destroyed if my team didn't win. And if we did win, I was just like, yep, I'll take it in stride. I'm good with that. And it's like, can I really function like this? I mean, I can function like this if we're winning. I can function like this if everything's going amazing and good. But I don't think I can function like this if we lose Patrick Mahomes and we start losing, or we start not winning every year, you know? Quarterbacks are like the everything of the league. If you have a quarterback in place, you're going to do amazing. I think quarterbacks are, I'm not going to exaggerate too much, but I think quarterbacks are at least 10 times more important than even a head coach on your team. I would say, if you disagree with that, let me know. If you think a head coach, you'd rather have a good head coach than a good quarterback, let me know. But I, just doing my research, I think by far it is way more important to have a quarterback. And quarterbacks drive everything. So we've seen that, like Tom Brady, he completely changed the game. He won when he did not have the best supporting cast. And even Mahomes, he's won. He continues to win, and he finds a way to win when he loses Tyreek Hill. When he loses so many awesome players that we've lost, and we've just had to say la vie because we can't afford to pay you, you know? But Mahomes, he did not break the bank. He did not break the bank in taking the biggest deal whatsoever. You know, he did when he did take that huge deal. It wasn't still, he could have took more, and he still put Kansas City in a place where they did have still some cap to buy some other players and continue to not just be in a terrible position for the next decade. But just thinking about if you were to, and I did this, I know I'm gonna mix the streams in a terrible way. You know, you got sports, you got politics, and you got religion right down the middle, and never shall the streams pass. Never shall the streams, cross ever, you know? And I try not to cross the streams. I try not to cross the streams of sports, religion, and politics. But to me, I am who I am. I'm the same person, like, that I think politically wise when I'm watching sports, that I think religious wise when I'm watching politics or sports. I'm that same person, so I will cross the streams at times. And I'm just thinking, when the election happened recently, we are familiar with the election that just happened with Donald Trump, becoming the next president. Going in like the weekend before the election actually happened, I still had some I don't know what's going to happen. I got to kind of cover myself. I kind of got to hedge my bet. I got to hedge my bet in case things don't go. I got to be able to put myself in a state of mind that, say things don't go the way I want, I got to be able to still function. I got to be able to still function going forward. So what I did was I created a video. My last video before that election was to put it into perspective. If the other side that I was not wanting to won, then it wouldn't be the end of the world. It would not be the end of the world. I could still go on. And I tried to look at the silver lining and try to look at the bright side if that were to happen. And I inserted a couple things and all that. And so I'm going to kind of do that right here. So I'm not saying the Chiefs are going to lose, I'm not going to say, I was about to say God forbid, but I'm really double taking on that. Should I say God forbid on that? I don't know. Even in jest, I don't know. But say the Chiefs do lose. I want to still be able to wake up the next morning and not my life be destroyed, I know we don't want to have loser talk. We don't want to have loser talk when you're talking about your hedging your bets and all this kind of stuff, but because you got to be ultra focused. But I'm a realist. I'm an idealist overall, and by far I'm an idealist. But really, I'm a realist in a big way. So if the Chiefs lose, I think I can still have hope, and this is what's changed my mind over the years. I used to be, if the Chiefs lost, I was messed up badly for the next week. I was just heartbroken. It was not fun to do anything. I was sad. But since I've had God in my life, and it's not been perfect, it's definitely not been perfect, and I still feel those things of, I want the Chiefs to win, and I'm not going to be too happy if they lose. But if they do lose, and if something ever does not go right, I mean, I love Mizzou. Mizzou's my other favorite team. If my team loses, the next morning, I wake up and I try to think, thank God it doesn't matter. I know we don't want to think like that, but like I'm like, because in the overall scheme of my life, overall everything, it's a game. It doesn't need to dictate how my emotions feel and how I'm going to function and how irritable or how everything I am going to be around other people for the next week. But thank God that I can have peace even if my team loses. It can be that much better if they win. But if they lose, if it doesn't go the way that I've wanted, I can still have peace. So I hope you all have that peace that is in God, in Christ, that if things don't go the way that you completely are driving to and want them to go, that you can still have peace and joy. Having that maybe just ahead of time, preparing, kind of, sort of. You got to think these things out before they happen. You never know what's actually going to happen. So you can have peace no matter what happens. So, but I am definitely predicting that the Chiefs are going to win. I'll say the Chiefs are going to win a weird number, 39-33. They're going to win 39-33. That's going to be the overall score. So that's my prediction. Chiefs win. But who do you got? Put it in the comments. Tell me if you think I'm completely right, or tell me if you think I'm off a little bit, off my rocking chair.